The V-rod is a special type of connecting rod used on commercial vehicle chassis. As the vehicle suspension travels, the V-rod holds the axle in its proper position relative to the frame. This helps improve the ride quality and control of the vehicle. V-rods are made on the Dunkus presses in the Dunkus area in the rubber metal value stream. Crimping is the only construction method used for V-rod frames. Before work begins, the work order packet is reviewed. It contains the part number, the quantity, and the due dates, as well as the technical drawing, inspection records, and packing specs. The assembly press is set up according to the yellow changeover manual found in the area kiosk. Depending on the type of straddle ball specified on the work order, work begins by checking the pinhole spacing and diameter and then pressing the pins into the sleeves as shown. This step is not necessary if purchased rubber metal straddle balls are specified in the bill of material. Actual manufacturing of V-rods begins by placing the frame into the press's fixture. If the BOM specifies that metal sleeve straddle balls are to be used, they are loaded into the frame as shown, and the press is activated to press the straddle balls into place. The frame is flipped, and the process is repeated. If the BOM specifies that purchased rubber metal straddle balls are to be used, the print is first consulted to determine whether or not lube is required. If it is required, the lube station is set up and lube is applied after the straddle ball pins have been checked for proper hole spacing and diameter. After confirming that the straddle ball is to spec, it is placed into the frame. Next, the spacer ring and circlip specified on the work order's bill of material are installed using the assembly cone. Be sure to orient the opening of the circlip 45 degrees in relation to that of the tube. If a spacer ring is required, orient its opening 180 degrees to that of the circlip as shown. The press is activated by depressing the palm buttons. An audible click is heard when the circlip seats into the ring groove. The circlip seating is confirmed by measuring the distance between the holes using the circlip gauge. The circlip is marked, indicating that it has passed inspection. If the circlip does not seat properly, follow the rework instructions for proper removal and replacing of the circlip. The frame is then flipped to the other side and the steps are repeated. Check the straddle ball for hole spacing and diameter, apply lube if specified, apply the bushing into the frame, install the spacer ring if required, and install the circlip. Activate the press, listen for the click, check the circlip seating with the gauge. The frame with the outer bushings installed is transferred to the straightening table. The spread is checked and adjusted until it meets specification. The frame is marked, indicating that it has passed inspection. The part identification label or stamp is applied according to the print. To install the apex bushing, the frame is loaded into the press's fixture. The print is again consulted to determine whether or not lube is required. If it is required, the lube station is set up and lube is applied after the straddle ball pins have been checked for proper hole spacing and diameter. After confirming that the straddle ball is to spec, it is placed into the frame. Next, the spacer ring and circlip specified on the work order's bill of material are installed using the assembly cone. Be sure to orient the opening of the circlip 45 degrees in relation to that of the tube. If a spacer ring is required, orient its opening 180 degrees to that of the circlip as shown. The press is activated by depressing the palm buttons. An audible click is heard when the circlip seats into the ring groove. The circlip seating is confirmed by measuring the distance between the holes using the circlip gauge. The circlip is marked, indicating it has passed inspection. If the circlip doesn't seat properly, follow the rework instructions for proper removal and replacing of the circlip. If a flange is required, the frame is loaded into the press's fixture. The swivel ball and bearing race are assembled and placed in the frame. Depress the palm buttons to press the swivel ball assembly into place. The top bearing, spacer ring, and circlip are then installed. The retaining ring is then installed and checked for proper seating. Be sure to properly orient the opening of the rings as described earlier. Activate the press and check the circlip for proper seating. The flange is loaded into the fixture. The pre-assembled frame with the swivel ball is placed on the flange and pressed into position. The retaining bolt is installed and torqued to specification. Grease is applied in the cavity, then the sealing cap with the gasket is positioned on the frame and then pressed into its final position. Additional part ID stamps are applied here if required. The rubber seal is put into its proper position before the clamp ring is installed. Measure and record inspections of the principal characteristics at the intervals specified on the inspection record using the gauges listed on the proof plan. After the V-rod assembly is complete and it has passed the required inspections, the V-rod is placed in the container for shipment to the customer.